I'm so tired of looking at this mess, but I'm trapped.
You're not trapped anymore, Arthur. We're clearing it today.
Thank you. I miss seeing the street from my door.
You've opened my world again. I can see outside now.
No more living behind a wall of grass, Arthur.
Thank you. I finally feel like myself again.
I am so tired of looking at this mess, but I am trapped. As those words escaped the dry, cracked lips of 82-year-old Arthur, he leaned, heavily against his worn wooden cane, staring blankly at the massive ocean of head-high grass that had completely cut him off from the outside world. He was a man who had spent his entire life being independent, a hard worker, who took absolute pride in maintaining his property, only to find himself now a prisoner of his own, failing health because his knees had completely given out years ago. For years, while he struggled with pain inside the quiet walls of his home, the yard he once cared for had slowly mutated into a dense, suffocating wilderness of tall weeds and wild branches that completely blocked the view of the street and turned his front porch into a solitary confinement cell. We were not here for money, as we had driven all the way to this neighborhood just to find the man whose isolated condition had been quietly noted by the community but left entirely ignored by everyone who passed by. When we arrived, the sight was truly devastating, because it was not merely a yard but a towering wall of green neglect that completely buried his white trailer and obscured the entire face of his house, making it look like a place where no one lived anymore. The most heartbreaking detail he shared with us as he stood there in his faded, ripped flannel shirt was that he felt completely invisible, because the jungle had grown so high that he could no longer see the neighbors or the cars driving by, and it felt like the world had simply forgotten he was still there. Seeing the sheer defeat and sadness in his eyes was enough to break our hearts, because no man who has lived a full life should ever have to spend his final years trapped behind a barrier of weeds just because he can no longer push a mower. We did not just bring our heavy industrial weed eaters and riding mowers to this property, for we brought the promise that we would tear down this green prison and open his world back up to the community. As the engines roared to life and we began to cut down the thick wall of neglect, I could see him watching us from the porch, his hands shaking on his cane as he slowly began to realize that the suffocating weight was finally being lifted. We worked tirelessly under the hot sun, knowing that every single foot of cleared ground was a victory for his mental health. And by the time we finished, the transformation was nothing short of a miracle, because the property was once again open and full of light instead of a monument to his isolation. We cleared away